Hi everybody, this is On Air, my Beatles collection. Today I'm going to show you another box set, bootleg box set, for want of a better name. I can't actually tell you the name of this one um, because it's in Russian, and I don't know what the name of it is. Maybe if you have some Russian friends that can help you translate. This is from 2007. I believe that says tiny little print on the back. I think that says 2007. Anyway, this has lots of CDs in it. Here is the pile, and this one is interesting. This one uses as its theme, for the most part, original albums and EPs and vinyl. But it also includes other stuff that was going on around at the same time. With the exception of the first one. First one has this cover, and you might remember seeing that Beatles Top Pole, this early material. This has the DECA auditions. It has stuff from Japan, from Germany. These things open up like an envelope. So there's a picture inside. A couple of pictures inside. Famous picture from Germany. This is the CD. It's a nice printed CD label. It's not paper. It's printed CD. It's mostly in Russian, so you can't decipher that unless you know Russian language. It is a silver CD, not a CDR. And here's the set list. For some reason, it starts with Real Love and Free as a Bird. Not sure why. But then you got the classic early Beatles stuff from the early Beatles albums. From Germany, and then the DECA tapes and so on. It's a great place to have all that stuff. You get Hello Little Girl and Like Dreamers Do, Love of the Loved, all the stuff that the Beatles wrote, early stuff, and more of the odder stuff that they recorded. Three Cool Cats, Besame Mucho, The Sheik of Araby, all the DECA stuff. And then, the German stuff, Sweet Georgia Brown, with Tony Sheridan, When the Saints Go Marching In, Why, Cry for Shadow, My Bonnie, all that stuff. So that's disc one in here. The next one they call A Shot of Rhythm and Blues, but it's basically the Beatles at the BBC stuff, and they use the BBC picture that, or one of the pictures that you might be familiar with. And this has a wide variety of stuff that they recorded for the BBC. These were recorded in studio, but for the most part without overdubs or anything. They were just one take recordings for the radio show. They weren't performed live for the most part on the radio shows. They were performed live for the radio show and then recorded and played back. And a lot of times they were sitting in the studio and talking, and the song was introduced, and they'd all sit back and listen to it. So again, this is a nice set of BBC stuff in one place. I'll take this out and show you there's the pictures that are inside this one, and here's that CD. Really pretty nicely done. The next one is Please Please Me, is sort of the core album, but it also references the Love Me Do single, the Introducing the Beatles album from the US, and From Me to You single, and so on. And here's what, so it shows you some of the other sources besides the Please Please Me album. And if you want to pause that to see the tracks. So, basically you get the Please Please Me album, and then you get Besame Mucho, Love Me Do, How Do You Do It, which is the great hit that the Jerry and the Pacemakers had put out. George Martin famously wanted the Beatles to record that and release it. They reluctantly recorded it, but did not want to release it. And then, Do You Want to Know a Secret? There's a Place. It says 17. I believe that's, I saw her standing there, but I don't know. From Me to You, Thank You Girl, and early versions of One After 909. So, nice stuff all from that era. If we got a Please Please Me Super Deluxe box set ever, which who knows if we'll ever get one, maybe we would get a lot of that material from that time and alternate tracks. Anyway, that's that CD. Now we go with the Beatles. And here, the other reference are singles and the American with the Beatles, American Meet the Beatles. That's the British Can't Buy Me Love. And then you got the American Beatles second album. So all this stuff comes from all the various sources that relate sort of back to With the Beatles. And so if you pause that, you could see the tracks back there. So this has the classic With the Beatles album. And then it also has the German stuff. Come Give Me Deine Hand, Sie liebt dich. It has Moonlight Bay. It has Bad to Me. I'm in Love, which I think is a great song. I'm in Love. Great to have that on a CD. They have If I Feel, which obviously is If I Fell. They don't always do a great job with the translations from English to Russian and back to English. Anyway, if you want to pause that, you can see all the other tracks. Let's take a quick look at the inner sleeve here. So this has the liner notes from With the Beatles, and then the picture down the bottom. So again, nice little package. Label's the same as the others. Now we get A Hard Day's Night. So again, A Hard Day's Night is the bass album, and you get that album, but you also get the American version and some more tracks from American album, Something New album, and then these were from singles. Again, if you want to pause that to see the tracks. Nice combination of stuff here. So you get all the American stuff, which includes the the instrumental stuff, the George Martin stuff, and from the U.S. album was the soundtrack album, so it had not only the Beatles singing their own songs, but also had George Martin playing instrumental versions from the film. That was on United Artists here. The Beatles had a separate contract with United Artists for films and soundtracks associated with films. So that's why A Hard Day's Night was not on Capitol in the U.S. And Capitol snuck a few songs on Something New from A Hard Day's Night. And they also released a couple of singles, And I Love Her, If I Fell. Well, that was an A and a B side of one record. And of course, the single, A Hard Day's Night. So anyway, again, it's a nice combination of all those sources, with the primary UK album being, being the bass album. This is Beatles for Sale, is the bass album here. But in the US, there was no such album. There was Beatles 65. That's one of them. There's also Beatles 6. And then that refers to the single for, which single is that? I think that's I Feel Fine, yeah. So again, here's the track list. So they give you the actual original album as the Beatles intended, Beatles for Sale, and then anything that other tracks that showed up on U.S. albums that were related to that time period, you get those too. Same thing, of course, with Help. Help, another good one here, and here you also get some of the U.S. stuff and also stuff that was recorded during that time. Again, if you want to pause that to see the track list. Of interesting note, before we had Anthology, we had not heard If You Got Trouble or That Means a Lot. Those are both on here. Bad Boy, which was I only had very limited release. There's, I mentioned If You Got Trouble. I'm Down. There's a version of Yesterday on here. It's Only Love. Let's take a look at this. This probably has some pictures from the film and the album. Yep, that's what it has. So that's that. Next we got Rubber Soul. This one includes 12-bar original, the early takes of I'm Looking Through You, before they had the bridge for that song. Norwegian Wood is listed here, both as Norwegian Wood on the original album, and then on the extra tracks it's listed as This Bird Has Flown. Anyway, I'll show you the back there. They don't make any reference to any U.S. Stuff here. There was, of course, a U.S. Rubber Soul album which did not have the same tracks. Here we go with Revolver. So this is, again, the UK version of Revolver, supplemented with other stuff that came out during that time. It alludes to the Oldies album, Golden Oldies album, Yellow Submarine. What's the other one? Paperback Writer. Yeah. Again, if you want to pause that, see the titles. So this has Got to Get You Into My Life. These are alternate tracks. Paperback Writer, Rain, And Your Bird Can Sing, Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping. And it says one title is He Said, and then the next one is She Said, She Said. And then there's a medley of And Your Bird Can Sing, Got to Get You Into My Life, For No One, and Here, There, and Everywhere. Yellow Submarine, and Here, There, and Everywhere again. That shows you the back of the album and some other shots from that time period. Now we get one called Breakpoint, and this is really the base for this is primarily the Beatles live, including Hollywood Bowl. You see the Hollywood Bowl tickets there. So lots of demos or alternate takes of Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane. The track listings are all in Russian here, so but they all refer to either Strawberry Fields or Penny Lane, and then up here you got the live stuff. And then it's Sgt. Pepper. And this has some alternate tracks and stuff they were working on at the time. So it has the regular album, of course, ending with A Day in the Life. And then the alternate tracks start with A Day in the Life, Good Morning, Only a Northern Song, For the Benefit of Mr. Kite, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Within You Without You, Sgt. Pepper Reprise, and then a mix. I'm not sure what's on the mix. So that's what the back looks like there. Quick look at the inside on this one. Oh, this has the code for the front cover. So, who's where in the drawing. So you can tell you by number who's who. That's kind of cool to have. Then, of course, there's Magical Mystery Tour. So that's the U.S. cover that ultimately became canon for the Beatles albums worldwide. But of course, that was originally just a double EP that came out to coincide with the film release, which was on Boxing Day in 1967. So anyway, this refers to that, and it adds the to the EP. It adds the All Together Now, You Know My Name, Look Up the Number, It's All Too Much, All You Need Is Love, Hello Goodbye, Baby You're a Rich Man, and other tracks. Again, if you want to take a look at the back of that. So just a couple more here. Let's take another look at I haven't showed you a CD in a while, but again, they're all the same kind of motif with the appropriate background picture. And, you know, there's text in Russian there on the side. So here's some pictures from Magical Mystery Tour movie and from the recording period as well. So here's Yellow Submarine. And this has both the Yellow Submarine album plus some alternate takes of the instrumental stuff that was on that album. This also has Lady Madonna, Across the Universe, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and Baby You're a Rich Man. So now there's 3 different CDs that have to do with the White Album. So this has, this one CD has 38 tracks on it. And it goes from back in the USSR all the way out to Julia, but in between, you know, you get some alternate takes of the original album. So there, you might want to pause that as well. So that's CD 1. CD 2 moves on to what would be disc 2 in the full White Album final. So this goes from Birthday as track 1 all the way to track 13, which is Goodnight. But then it covers a new mix of Blackbird, Hey Jude, another one called Hey Jude Session, and I believe that is Paul and his band doing Hey Jude. And this one has the St. Louis Blues and the Las Vegas Tune intro. So I think if I'm not mistaken, that's from that. And then it has Hey Jude and Revolution as well. There's the track list. And then there's another one, White Album. And this is basically the issue demos. So this is a full CD of the issue demos. And this one you get Not Guilty and What's the New Mary Jane? Mary Jane Had a Pain at the Party. Let's see, Step Inside Love, which Paul wrote for Cilla Black. Los Paranoias, The Way You Look Tonight. And you know, some alternate takes there. Heather and Goodbye. So some other interesting things that were going on around that time. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 CDs that fall under the category of Get Back Project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I won't go through all of these. If you've heard all the Get Back Sessions recordings, these are, you know, many of the things that they did over and over again. But it also includes stuff that didn't make the album, you know, like Teddy Boy, which Paul was working on and wound up on his McCartney album. Save the Last Dance for Me is on here. Let's see what else is, you know, the full version of Dig It, which got cut for the, you know, for the eventual release. She Came in through the bathroom window. They worked on here a little bit. Oh Darling, they worked on here a little bit. Just go through some more of these here. Several versions of Don't Let Me Down and Get Back. Old Brown Shoe, I Want You. So from the Abbey Road album, I Want You. Something they were working on a little bit here. All Things Must Pass. It's great to have a Beatles version of All Things Must Pass when George was still, you know, working through the composition of that. Again, She Came in Through the Bathroom Window was again on here. Step Inside Love, again, Paul's song that he wrote for Cilla Black. Teddy Boy is on here again. Let's see. Fancy Me Chances is on here with Maggie May. Love Me Do is on here. The Walk is on here. Maybelline, You Can't Catch Me, which, of course, that's the song that got John sued for Come Together. Here Come Old Flat Top. He come grooving up slowly. Anyway, John paid for that with a couple of songs, Chuck Berry songs on the rock and roll album. Brown Eyed Handsome Man is on here. Let's see what else is unusual. Working on Octopus's Garden at this point. Her Majesty is on here. That's pretty much it for the, let's say the oddball stuff. This first one that I have in my hand here has Mean Mr. Mustard. It has Child of Nature, which of course eventually became Jealous Guy. Backseat of My Car, Paul's great song from the Ram album. It's an early version of that. Everyone Had a Hard Year, which of course became part of I've Got a Feeling. Nobody Ever Loved Me Like She Does. Maxwell Silver Hammer's on here. Mean Mr. Mustard is on here. Again, these were working versions that they were going through in, during the recording process for what became the Let It Be album eventually. But at that point, it was the Get Back, Don't Let Me Down album / film that they were working on, and they were, working on a lot of stuff, trying to find something that sounded good. Of course, that eventually became the basis for the Let It Be album. The first thing we got was Abbey Road, which was recorded. Some of the songs were practiced during that Get Back session, or written during that session. And of course, we actually got the great Abbey Road album. And so this is that album, and it also has, alternate takes for many of the songs that were on this album. And there's the track list for that. Let's take a look on the inside on this one. There's a CD again. Same picture. And, various shots in the studio and walking across the zebra crossing. And then we got, last but not least, we got Let It Be. So we got the cleaned up version of a bunch of those songs from the Get Back project. And then we got some of them again in alternate form. And we got some of the singles. So there's the reference to the singles. And again, if you want to pause that to see the titles, I will tell you that it has Across the Universe, which was nice to have on here. It has All Things Must Pass in an upgraded version of that. Ballad of John and Yoko, Octopus's Garden, Something, Oh Darling, Come and Get It, which Paul gave to Badfinger, and that was a big hit. I Me Mine, which Paul worked on with George in the last session ever that qualifies as a Beatles session. Another version of Let It Be, the song Let It Be. So, nice to have that one. Again, these all sound really good. I mean, as good as practice sounds in the studio in some cases. But it's well done. The CDs are high quality. There's the original back cover. And this is a picture from one of the picture sleeves and some more pictures from the time period. So that is this box. A lot of people call it Spectromania, but obviously it doesn't say that. I don't know what the heck the actual title is. I wouldn't even tell you how to look for it. But this is what the back looks like. It's got like a embossed carving of the Beatles. Some Russian language stuff down the bottom. There's the spine, one of the spines. There's another spine. There's the top. There's the bottom. So that is a really great set. There's 24 CDs in here. Fewer than that in terms of titles, but you know, some of them are doubles, whatever. So it's a great set. You can find it. I can't even tell you what you might pay for it nowadays. You know, that number of CDs, if you figure at least $5 a piece for the CDs, maybe $10 a piece for the CDs, you're probably up, you know, close to 175 or 200 if you try to buy this now. But I haven't seen one in a while. I mean, you could check eBay or something to see if there's any out there, but it's very well done. I mean, you know, the covers are paper, so you know, there's nothing super special about that. They're, you know, they're a little flimsy. I take very good care of them. The CDs, as I mentioned, appear to be factory CDs and not CDRs. I do believe it came from Russia. I don't know where I got it. I think I got it on eBay, to tell you the truth. But I'm glad to have it. It's a nice set. And, you know, sometimes you just want to listen to a certain period of the Beatles. Or you say, well, I want to hear more from what they were doing during the Hard Day's Night period. And if you put that on, you know, you get not only the album, but the singles, and you get other studio stuff they were working on, and some of the stuff they never released. So it's kind of good to have it all in one place as a theme rather than alphabetical or, you know, in some other format. You know, like anthology is kind of in chronological order, at least. So when you listen to 1, 2, or 3 of the anthology, you kind of get what was in the progression of time, you know, up until the end of the, you know, the Beatles recording period, in you know, in 1969, 70. So anyway, this is similar to that, but you get a lot more songs from a particular period than you get an anthology. There's about, you know, there's about 10 anthologies here with all these CDs. So that's it for this one for today, whatever that title is. And I'll put that title, you know, on the title line for the YouTube video, but don't ask if I can. Actually, I'm not even sure I can do that, because I'll have to call this an H and an R, even though they're backwards. So I don't know what the name is, but anyway, it was fun to get it. It's fun to listen to it, and if you could find one, I recommend it. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber yet, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll look forward to seeing you again sometime. Take care.